Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and today I'm going to start this video off by asking you a question. My question to you is, how often do you change the oil on your car? And it doesn't have to be the 10th generation Honda Accord, it doesn't have to be an ND, Mazda, Miata, just any car. What is your practice? It's a hot topic amongst car enthusiasts. Now you have an older generation which grew up changing their oil every 3 months, 3,000 miles. I don't think that's right. I think in the decades since, cars have improved, engines have improved, the quality of oil filters have improved, the quality and makeup of oil has improved to such an extent that you can go longer. Yes, I firmly believe that. You do not have to change your oil every 3 months, 3,000 miles. I know there's going to be some of you that will contest that. I'm not talking about high performance engines and people racing their cars all the time and they're on the track. If you beat the hell out of your car and you put it under a lot of stress, then yes, you probably want to change your oil more frequently. But for the rest of us, for 90% of us that yes, we like some enthusiastic driving and yes, we may frequent the track once in a while, then you really don't have to do that. In today's video though, I'm going to find out if I was right in waiting to change the oil on our project car, or if I made a huge mistake by waiting so long. And so long is actually 1 year and 9 months. It has been a full year and 9 months. Think about that. That's almost 2 years. That's a year and 3/4. That is a long time to wait for an oil change. The reason why I waited, two reasons why I waited is the car's maintenance reminder did not indicate I needed an oil change. I monitored it myself, watching the percentage of oil life continue to drop. It's only at 10-15%, so it's not even at 0%. So I'm performing an oil change even earlier than what the car suggests. I've also waited because even though it's been 1 year and 9 months, it is only 6,500 miles on the oil that's in there. So not a lot. I'm going to change the oil today. This video is not about changing the oil. If you're interested in finding out how to change the oil on a 10th generation Honda Accord, or for that matter, if you're watching this, the ND Mazda Miata, I have put together videos, both super easy. Anyone could do it. I'll leave a link in the description below. Go take a look at the video. Like I said, simple. Anybody can change the oil on these cars. What today's video is about is to see if I made a mistake. Should I have changed the oil sooner? So I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to take a sample of the used oil. I am going to then have it tested, see what the lab comes back and shows, see if, holy crap, I should have changed it so much sooner, I may have damaged the car, or you know what? It's okay to listen to that maintenance reminder from Honda. Just wait until it gets down to 0.5%, change your oil, and you'll be fine. So if you're interested in finding out more, then stay tuned. Let me tell you a little bit more about how I'm going about testing the oil, having an oil analysis conducted. So I did a little bit of research online. There's several companies out there. I am not sponsored, nor do I support any one of these companies. However, I decided to go with Blackstone Laboratories. I will leave a link below. Again, this is not sponsored, but they perform oil analysis along with a whole bunch of other testing. They send you the test kit for free. When you return the test kit with the oil sample, they will then charge you. I will be testing the Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. This is what I used last time, so I'm trying to keep consistent. Whether it's your favorite brand or not is irrelevant to this test, okay? So this is not a video about, is this the best oil? And that test report will indicate if I waited too long. Wait. Before I show you the results, pause the video. In the comments, just let me know what you think the results are going to show. Do you think that the oil will be fine, the used oil, and that the weight was no big deal? Or do you think that we're gonna have some indication that I should have changed the oil sooner? So let me know. And with that said, let's go take a look at our results. Before we take a look at the reports from Blackstone Laboratories, I just want to make something very clear. I think the timing of your oil changes should be very dependent upon the usage of your vehicle. So what I mean by that is if you are someone who is at the track twice a week, running multiple quarter miles during the summertime, in a lot of stop and go traffic, using your car in extreme weather, like maybe a really hot summer, 100-degree heat, that will break the oil down quicker. I've never been one to believe that you should change your oil based on time. No, oil sitting in a car unused is not going to break down. Oil will break down and lose its viscosity, will lose its the effectiveness of its additives, whether those additives are detergents or dispersants or anti-wear, as you use the car. Even though it's been 1 year and 10 months, it has only, quote, only been 6,700 miles. So that's not a lot. Let's take a look at the Blackstone Laboratories oil analysis report. Let's go right to the comments. And the comment section reads, it looks like there may have been another oil change in the Accord's history. And with that in mind, these high readings aren't too concerning. And there have. So let me just point out, this car, our car here, has a total of roughly 12,000 miles. So still a young car as far as mileage is concerned. And that means that the engine is probably still breaking in, right? And that's what they're referring to. And there was a prior oil change. The extra aluminum, iron, and copper are likely from initial wear-in of new parts that hasn't had a chance to wash out yet. The minor fuel dilution is harmless. It's a very low number, I'll get to that. And the 2.4 TBN shows additive left. That shows if it's still effective. And Blackstone indicates, yes, it's still effective. The oil still has life left in it. The property section at the very bottom, let's take a look at that. Our first SUS viscosity of 49.3 is well within the range that it should be. The CST viscosity is at a level of 7.05, well within that range. We do have a lower flash point. So our flash point of 375, and the reason for that is probably due to the next piece, and that's the fuel percentage of 0.5. That will lower the flash point of your oil itself. So we have a little bit of fuel in there, but at 0.5, it is negligible. And as we read in the comments above, the minor fuel dilution is harmless. So not a big deal. And then we come to our last two numbers. To me, it is the oil still have properties, still have elements contained in there. So our detergents, our dispersants, and our anti-wear, are they still effective? And that TBN of 2.4 clearly indicates this oil is still good. The last piece, the insolubles percentage, which ours is 0.2, and that is well below their range of less than 0.6. If this insoluble percentage was higher, that would make me concerned regardless of the TBN, regardless of any of the other numbers, because I don't want that grit in my oil. This oil analysis is conclusive in that it shows that we were okay in abiding by the maintenance reminder and waiting 1 year and 10 months. Hopefully this was helpful to all of you. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you very much for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you, and until next time.